Well, greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to another episode of very, very special videos. Now, this video was filmed quite a while ago now, and it it is published only now because I've been a bit busy, and it took quite a long time to edit this and piece together this episode. But regardless, I hope you enjoy this video. Regardless, I have two guests on this video. I have Zumi and Microraptor, who have both appeared, if my memory serves correctly, on NASA Bunker 33 Transistor Productions videos. The two that are out there, where I've also been a part of. We talked about Christian or evangelicals hating gay LGBTQ plus people, and well, pretty much everyone else other than their own people. So, and if about what Christian love is and isn't and should and shouldn't be, etc. So I'll next I'll give you a small reminder of my Patreon, etc., and then the video. Enjoy. I would like to remind you of the existence of my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/Heidi's Corner, and there will be a link up there and in the description box below. There is tiers starting from €3 a month, which is the Unicorn Crew, and this goes up to €30 a month for Bad Deals people. Huge, huge, huge thank you to Flems, who is my patron. Patreon page of mine has existed for 10 months or so at this point, and Flems has been my patron from almost the very beginning. So big shout out to Flems. Let's start with identifying who the hell we have here today with me. We have here Zumi. Who the fuck are you?
Random, nobody on the internet.
Right, okay. And we have been doing some collaboration in the past. I've been on NASA Bunker 33 on the Transistor Productions, which is a sort of collective, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, collective, I would say.
Yeah. All right.
We really need
Yeah.
we really need to get back to making more videos with them.
Yeah, yeah. We've had just I think two so far, but anyway, to tonight's topic, the hatred, uh, the trans and homophobic hatred of the evangelicals, who pretend to be the loving neighbors.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, it's clearly this type of hatred, and the how deep it goes. It's clearly um, an American phenomenon to begin with, or primarily, or that's where it's from. How is this stuff like this even possible?
I don't even know. It's I don't I don't
I
understand
mean,
it myself.
yeah, the US has a history of evangelical fundamentalism, and
Very much so.
that has to do that has a lot to do with the fact that Protestant Reformation in Europe in the 1500s, 15 and 1600s, and the influx of these groups of Protestants that were then frowned upon, and they came to America. It seems as if this stems from the legacy of these groups, and they. Why is it that they claim that the U.S. Constitution is based on the Ten Commandments? Well, that is not the case.
It isn't the case. The Ten Commandments, the Constitution is a very much a secular document, and
Yeah,
the United States was founded on secularism, not Christianity, and
yeah,
definitely not their version of
yeah.
Christianity.
Okay, so what we have here on LGBTQ Nation is a is about Pastor Dylan Oz of Steadfast Baptist Church in Hurst, Texas. How am I not surprised? It's once again from Texas. So
Yeah, yeah.
had a very specific call for violence against LGBTQ people in sermon this weekend for LGBTQ Nation, and entitled, he's an entitled cunt. Okay, entitled "Why We Won't Shut Up." He said, he's saying the solution for homosexuals, which he said is murder. What a charming chap. Okay, so let's go from the article here. There's Dylan Oz, in awe of God. Okay, so he says, "What does God say is the answer? Is the solution for the homosexual in 2022 here in the New Testament, here in the book of Romans?" Also asked that they are worthy of death, that those people should be put to death. So it's something that we've seen before. So this kind of rhetoric that the Bible tells that gays should be put to death. Any thoughts, darlings?
What is it to say is awful?
Yeah, but is it like, I think it's, you cannot use a book that was written over over the course of 1,000 years, over 2,000 years
Yeah.
ago. How in the fuck is it relevant? I don't think it's relevant. Or
It's not relevant.
No,
No, it isn't.
how do you think? How do you think it? Why do you think these people think it's relevant? Is it like because their daddy told them to, or is it because their priest told them to?
They agree with what's in it because they're filled with hate to begin with.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but then there are the people who weren't born into the faith, but they buy into this horrible way of thinking because someone told them to. I mean, they go into that as an adult.
Mm.
Why do I mean, Zumi? Your this is more like your territory in the sense that why do you think it's an American phenomenon? Evangelical movement is an American phenomenon. Why do you think people buy into it as adults?
I honestly don't understand it myself because, I mean, it's very illogical thinking, for one. I don't, like I said, I don't understand it myself because I'm more of a logical thinker. I like to think things through.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But for them, they're very illogical and they're not very, they're hate-filled people, and
Yeah.
whatever agrees with their hate, they agree with.
Yeah, I guess. And I mean, here Christian church or denomination we have is the Roman Catholic. and the two most prevalent ones are Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox, Eastern slash Russian Orthodox. They are more, especially the Catholic Church, they are a lot more moderate in their shit. Microraptor in our corner of the world, it's moderate Protestant Christianity, like as in Lutheran, etc. So in your corner of the world, how prevalent is the evangelical movement?
Not at all in Sweden. We don't really have like any visible and evangelical movement. You don't see them very often. I mean, we most likely have one, but it's not like in the US. We seem to be everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's here in Finland, as I was about to say. It's We do have some evangelicals, and they keep a lot of noise, but they're small, and they don't really have that much. They don't have any political power. In the US, would you say,
Mhm.
Zumi? Would you say that they have quite a bit of political power?
Right now, they have all the power, pretty
Oh
much.
yeah, yeah. They have all the political power and the Russian money.
Yeah,
They don't get it from the US. I mean,
quite a bit of that.
they get okay. They get their uh, basic basics basic money as what do you call it when in English when you get tithing you when you get 10% of your income to the church, but mostly they get it's Ruski money. Unfortunately, they just whether they want like it or not, it's Ruski money mostly.
Yeah,
But however, we have uh, two that I know of these fundies in our parliament. One used to be the parliament in-house doctor, but like 30 years ago. She hasn't practiced since like mid 1990s, and then she's an MP now and used to be the Minister of Interior Affairs, i.e., in charge of the police force, etc. And she is an evangelical Christian, and she has been charged with hate speech, inciting. I think it's inciting against a group of a minority. She's been charged with that several times, but never convicted for obvious reasons. But um, she publicly said that she's rejoicing of the fact that Roe v. Wade was overturned in the US, and she wants the same here in Finland. And then there was another one who's actually a gynecologist and an obstetrician, OBGYN, a middle-aged woman who's also an MP, and she was also rejoicing on the fact that Roe v. Wade was overturned, which is quite scary. And I know that this latter lady, this OBGYN, is actually practicing. She's actually practicing, and I know the clinic where she works. Uh, at least used to. She used to work at a clinic that I used to that I went to, and I'm still going for a neurologist. But that's a whole other matter. Uh, Mark, is there any Zoomy? Is there any light at the end of the tunnel, or are we still in the dark times in terms of trying to get these evangelicals out of the system?
well, every generation is slowly moving towards the nuns
Uh,
category, so that's a good thing. But every single time we do try to go towards the nuns, By nuns, I mean non-denominational people who don't follow a religion of any, sort. That's what I mean by nuns.
Yeah.
NONES, like,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not the religious position.
But as we move towards the nuns, the evangelicals are getting more and more extreme, which is a bad thing.
Obviously.
Mm.
We've got
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson. What's his first name? Anderson, the Steve Anderson, yeah. Yeah, the one who got tased by the cops. Anyway, and then we have this Dylan Oz, and then we've got Greg Locke. There's
And Kent Ham and
yeah, Mr. Locke. Mr. Locke
Yeah.
would be a topic for an entire own video because he's being a fucking ass. Yeah, but okay, let's go to the article. So he takes his arguments from the book of Romans, which is in the New Testament, somewhere halfway through, I think. Halfway through the book, the New Testament, but it's not how. I mean, as we already established, the U.S. Constitution is an a-religious piece of legislation, which is a good thing. And as far as I can tell, there is a clear indication that it clearly separates church and state. How? I mean, I haven't really read the whole thing, but how clear is it on the matter that on the separation of state and church?
There is actually part in it. It says there should be a clear line of separation between church and state, a clear wall of separation between church and state.
Okay.
However, some evangelicals has read that as the state should not influence the church, but the church is fully able to influence the state, which is complete bullshit.
And which is obviously against the Constitution. Why?
It is.
Why would that be? Because that would be because a clear wall between the two, and it's not a one-way street. It doesn't say it's a one-way street. It says a clear wall between the two.
Yeah.
Okay, so the article here. Okay, he is saying that every single homosexual in our country, that is the US, should be charged with a crime, the abomination of homosexuality that they have. He continued, they should be convicted in a lawful trial. They should be sentenced to death with death. Why should they be charged with a crime that it isn't a crime? At least on federal level, it's not a crime.
Yeah.
I mean, the process is happening to decriminalize homosexuality in the state of Pennsylvania as of right now, as at the time of recording. And I made a video about that. I may or may not put it in the description box afterwards. But it's still not a capital crime. Has it ever been a capital crime in the US? Being gay? At least on federal level.
On the federal level, no, it's never been a crime. In certain states, sodomy, there have been anti-sodomy laws, but that's not the same thing.
Some have, but yeah, I've made some videos about this previously, and in many cases, these sodomy laws have been applied to homosexuality.
Yeah.
So it's been on state level, but not federal level. Okay.
Yeah, it's been on state level.
But
some states, not every state.
Yeah,
it's been,
like Pennsylvania.
I think only about 13 states that had those, 13 or 14 states. But It's never been on a federal level, no.
And in Finland and Sweden, it hasn't been a crime for decades. I mean, it's
1944 it became legal in Sweden.
Yeah, 1944 during the Second World War, but Sweden wasn't there, didn't take part in that one. So in Finland, it was 1971 or 1972.
Wow.
When it was
So not that
long ago.
then.
So that was 50 years ago. 50 years ago now. 51 years ago, something like that. And then it was a mental illness until 1982.
Here it stopped being a mental illness in 1979.
Yeah, well, Sweden first, Finland will follow a few years later.
Yeah, we have a history.
Yeah, we have a history. Yes, we have a 500-year history with Finland and Sweden as being one state.
I think it's longer than 500 years, but they have a long history regardless.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go a bit further with the article, shall we? And I quote, "They should be lined up against the wall and shot in the back of the head. That's what God teaches." Oh, tell me, in which book of the Bible do they describe firearms? Which book of the Bible?
None of them.
I think
my hunch,
when the book of Romans was written on sometime during the first few centuries AD, I don't think they had invented firearms yet.
No.
I think they invented firearms in like 1400s, like actual these muskets. They invented over 1,000 years after these books were written.
They had invented fire and they had invented iron, but they hadn't put them together yet.
Yeah, indeed. Like, this is just insane. Okay, I don't understand these people, but hey, that's how it goes.
Hate. They're filled with hate. That's all it is. They're filled with hate.
Mm-hmm. And
it twists their mind.
If there is a God, then if there is a God, why did he or she or it they make us queer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say,
we're trans.
And they say, Yahweh is the God of love, and yet he wants to butcher pretty much everyone.
But he loves you.
Yeah, he butchered small children, women, and men, just because a few people in Sodom and Gomorrah decided to have some anal sex.
He killed everyone.
No, he killed everyone.
Yeah, he killed everyone except Noah and his family, and he also encourages incest and shit because of Noah and Adam and Eve.
And also the whole thing with Sodom and Gomorrah, there's a lot of contention over that, where a lot of people say it's not the relations and everything that they had. It was how they treated their neighbors and how they treated outsiders that was the problem, because that was one of the main contentions in the Bible, was that the people in Sodom and Gomorrah were very unfriendly towards outsiders, and they would often kill outsiders for no reason, without provocation. And that was one of the main things of the Bible, was be kind to your neighbors, and
love thy neighbor.
Love thy neighbor, yeah. And that's one of the main contentions, is people believe that the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah were not gay sex, it was being
killing thy neighbor.
Yeah, killing thy neighbor, exactly.
Like this guy.
But still, I mean, if they're trying to say eradicate the concept of killing thy neighbor, why do they then kill all their neighbors?
Yeah.
They try to teach everyone to not kill their neighbors by killing their neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then they kill pretty much everyone except Noah and his allegedly, but that's from the Epic of Gilgamesh.
And then they claim to have the moral high that they're all they're moral. We're not a country.
Yeah, we're moral. They aren't. We concluded that the Bible doesn't talk about firearms because it's not possible because they didn't even have firearms. They didn't know the concept of firearms. I would like to ask this pastor dickhead awesome dickhead pastor awesome dickhead that in where exactly does it talk about firearms? Okay, and steadfast is yes.
Again, if you want to be really picky, I mean, he probably doesn't mean that the Bible literally say you should shoot them with firearms. Like, I don't think he's being that picky, so I don't know if you should be.
Yeah, I
think
guess
he
so.
just means. I think he just means that we should be put to death. That's
Yeah,
about
but
it.
why?
Just-
But why the fuck does
He
it?
doesn't care. He doesn't care how we die, just that we should be killed.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, they should be lined up against the wall and shot in their back of the head. That's what God teaches. That's what Bible says. End quote. So
Yeah.
awesome dickhead hasn't read the book, obviously, because he says that's what God says, that's what the Bible says. Fire, shoot them. But okay, granted, he may say, he doesn't say. It doesn't directly talk about firearms. But yeah. Okay. So Steadfast is one of the most hateful churches in the country, and its pastors have repeatedly called death to LGBTQ people. There is actually a video embedded here. This sort of hateful spewing hate. It's just horrible, deplorable. Yeah. According and the steadfast they also say, and I quote, according to God, we should hate pride, not celebrate it. Says Pastor Jonathan Shelley a few weeks ago in Arlington, Texas City Council meeting. This dick shit is in the city council.
Well, no. City council meetings are open for everyone, so he doesn't have to actually be a member of the city council. He can just attend the meeting and go there and speak in front of the city council. That's the way that works here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he's actually a member on the city. I don't think he's sitting on the city council. He just attended one of the meetings and
yeah. All right.
spoke in front of them.
All right. Fair enough. Okay. Pastor Shelley's also said, and I quote, God has already ruled that murder, adultery, witchcraft, rape, bestiality, and homosexuality are crimes worthy of capital punishment. Oh, rape. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's not
Come on,
at all the
Shelley.
same.
It depends on what on who the victim is. If it's the someone you want to marry, that's okay. Just pay 50 shekels to the father.
Yeah.
Once you
The Bible says that if a woman is raped, then she has to marry her rapist.
Yeah, and it's you pop it, you take it. It's damaged goods. So that's what
the Bible says, at least.
Yeah. JT. And he's made headlines last year when he said he's happy that a gay person was killed at a pride event, and he also saying at the time the Bible says they're worthy of death, and And quote continues, "Are you sad when a faggot dies? No, I think it's great. I hope that they'll die and yada yada yada." Frustrating. And Southern Poverty Law Center considers them a hate group. I've had on my channel. This is from this is from Steadfast Baptist Church in Hurst, Texas. Also, so he's calling death to lesbians, saying they're sick. But what I think he has an issue with here, this shithead here, okay? What he has the issue with are just lesbians. Why? Because he ain't getting laid. And he just wants to, it's not that rare that you hear these guys saying, can you when they hear you're a lesbian or something, can you just make one exception for tonight for being lesbian, like as if it's a fucking choice. Like being trans isn't the choice. Being a lesbian isn't the choice, and these people think it actually is. Being lesbian is actually something that you can make exceptions to, which is quite curious, to be quite honest. And
the only time that's really a choice is whenever you're bisexual.
Yeah, but that's not being. Come on, girl. You know that's not being a lesbian by choice.
No, it's not. I mean, I'm just saying that the
closest thing to being lesbian by choice is that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's bisexual. Yeah, I mean, bisexuals have the choice to be either one, but not everyone's bisexual.
They don't have the option of being gay or lesbian. But one day lesbian, gay the other, straight the other. No, they have the option. They can choose between being with a guy or a girl. They cannot just switch like that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's it? What do you think? What do you think might cause shit like this?
I think many of them are actually. I think many of them are actually bisexual themselves, and they view everyone as being bisexual. So, at least that's a theory of mine, at least.
Yeah, and it's
maybe this person is actually lesbian, and by extension, then a trans woman.
Maybe they one that comes to mind is that maybe they were once rejected by a lesbian, or and
maybe his wife is a lesbian.
Because it's not unheard. There's this what are they called? Girls something, the two blonde evangelical girls.
Girls Defined.
Yeah, Girls Defined. Yes.
Girls
Guess
Defined,
what? Yeah. They got married, both of them, to a guy. But tell you what, both of these guys are ex-gay. Both of these guys went through conversion therapy.
Yeah.
And they still look queer as fuck.
Yeah.
They look. I mean, I'm so sure these guys fuck each other.
Probably.
Girls go out. Go praying. Preach and doing that. When the girls do their YouTube videos and TikTok and whatever social media they do, the guys go bang bang.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt that in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't gamble, but if I had to put money on it, I would.
I would definitely.
Yeah. I mean, they aren't even. I mean, they're good. I mean, okay, I'm I'm lesbian. I'm trans woman and a lesbian, and I still think that both of the guys are very good looking. And then
Oh
there's
yeah.
the
Mhm.
what? Then there's this couple, a guy and a girl.
Paul and Morgan.
Yeah, Paul and Morgan. Yeah,
Morgan.
and I'm
Yeah.
sure, 100% sure that the guy is gay.
Mm.
Have you
Yeah.
seen
One
Have you
thing,
seen the music videos Morgan used to do before they got married?
yeah, I have.
Yeah, but funny enough, that all stopped like that when they got married,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
and then they
Paul's controlling
spew.
as fuck.
Yeah, they spew out so much hate. I mean,
Yeah.
the girl defined, and then this who's this middle-aged woman, also a YouTuber woman.
Yeah, there's something
What
white.
did what defined? Not what defined. That's
No.
plagiarism, but something like that. But hey,
Mm,
she is also so that is so horrible. It's so painful. Okay, this brother Tanner Fur. Well, he looks like fur. He's got fur on his face, lots of fur.
mm,
Yeah. Okay. And he's been calling death to lesbians specifically. I mean, the previous article that we saw from the Steadfast Baptist Church was gays. I mean, that was generic. Uh, if I understand it correctly, it's just generic
Gays
gay.
in general.
Gay as
Gay
in
in general.
lesbians, gays,
mm.
etc. All the bunch. He's uh there's and he Mr. Fur, Mr. Face Fur, saying they're sick, and I quote, "They're sick and gross because the Bible says so." He thinks it's okay. He thinks it's hot, but the Bible says it ain't.
Yeah.
Bible says it ain't so, but that's none of our business. And not just the male faggots, also the women faggots too. All the lesbos, all the dykes, all those butch dykes out there. I mean, aren't they all the same thing? Female
Yeah.
faggot, lesbo, dyke,
Yeah,
butch dyke.
yeah.
Aren't they all one of the same thing? It's like calling Mister Fur like a guy, a dude, but a beard guy, dude guy, man, boy, son. It's just
Bro,
ah. Just calling them to be shots once
Such a
again.
laugh, bro.
Oh yes, here, mind you, that he's saying the Bible says that they are to be stoned with stones. His friend said they should be shot. That the Bible, these guys need to get their shit together.
Yeah.
One
They do.
says the same part of the book says shoot. The other guy says shoot as in with firearms. Shoot then back of the head. This guy says the same part says stone, and that is correct. This man, Tanner is correct. That's what the Bible says. Stone them to death. That's what Leviticus says. That's what Leviticus says. At least I'm not. Yeah, he's talking about the same thing.
Especially if they say Jehovah.
Yeah, Jehovah. Yeah,
There's no hate quite like Christian love.
precisely so. Precisely so. And note that in general, in secular countries, there's far less uh, hate crimes, far
Yeah.
less gun crimes,
Yeah.
uh,
Now,
gun
but I
gun violence, etc. And now that the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was shot, the Japanese in Japan there are 124 million people. Want to have a guess? Don't Google how many gun crimes there are. Gun-induced homicides or gun
I'd say
crime.
around 10 a year, 10 to 15 a year, probably.
10 a year per 124 million.
Yeah.
And in the
Yeah.
US, it's the leading cause for children to die. It's
Yep.
the number one cause of death for children in the US.
Wow.
But I'll say this much. It's not every Christian, it's mostly the extremely religious evangelicals that are saying these things. I actually know quite a few Christians that have no problem with trans or gay people.
Yeah,
They
of
have
course.
no
It's
no
lots of
problems
those too.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
those are the
pro-
those
Yeah.
extremist evangelicals are the ones who do the most damage.
they have the loudest voice.
Yeah, they have the loudest voice, most guns, most money, and the
Yeah.
money comes from Russia.
Yeah.
No, we come from God. No, we come from
Yeah.
Russia.
And that's just horrible.
Yeah, it is.
I can't imagine how they can justify all this hate to themselves.
No, I
With
don't know either.
is it because it can't always be the Christian love, because yeah, as you said, the most violent thing is a Christian love among one of the most uh, dangerous things. Yeah, and that's how it is. Okay, but thank you very much, very 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 much for joining me on this video. Is there are there any final statements you wish to say before I turn off the camera? Zoomy?
Not really. It's not, like I said, it's not every Christian that thinks that way. It's just the extremists, and there really needs to be laws put in place for hate speech, for to outlaw hate speech. Honestly, I mean, they should have to face some type of consequences for saying bullshit like that. But as long as we have people in the Supreme Court that were put in place by monsters,
yeah,
nothing's gonna happen.
Yep. Microraptor?
I don't know. They're awful people and like hypocrites, and like the Christians always say that Christianity is about love, and this is obviously not love.
Yeah.
Indeed. Okay. Thank you very much for this one, and I'll see you in the next one. That is it for today's video. As stated previously, I hope you truly enjoyed this video of mine that I made in collaboration, and please leave me a like or a thumbs down, subscribe and tickle the notification bell, leave me a comment, something, I don't care, just comment, maybe space comma, and then share my video, and I'll see you in the next one.